Hey hooligans, and welcome back for some more Shelton Shenanigans. So we are here today, obviously, you know, if you pulled up this video, to read chapter 3 of Hatchet. The book is getting good. So, quick recap. Remember, he is flying on the plane. Pilot is like, and he tried to radio for help, didn't work. And at the end of chapter 2, remember, the plane ran out of gas. So, we're going to chapter 3 today. Let's get started. Okay, back again. Here to tell you what's happening in the book. So, we're going to go ahead and do chapter 3. Remember to be listening for the secret thing that I need you to comment below with your name so that I know that you watched the video. And if you don't have a YouTube account, go ahead and create a YouTube account so that you can subscribe and watch all the foolishness unfold on this channel. And you can always write it on a piece of paper and bring it to me Monday. But, I mean, it's easier just to subscribe. Okay. Y'all, my dog is... Hold on. Oh. We're back. All right. I could edit that out of the video, but I feel like it's very authentic. All right. Chapter 3. Going to die, Brian thought. Going to die, gonna die, gonna die, gonna die, gonna die, gonna die. His whole brain screamed it in the sudden silence. I am going to die. He wiped his mouth with the back of his arm and held the plane's nose down. The plane went into a glide, a very fast glide that ate altitude. Suddenly, there weren't any lakes. All he'd seen since they started flying over the forest was lakes, and now they were gone. Gone. Out in front, far away at the horizon, he could see lots of them, glittering blue in the late afternoon sun. But he needed one right in front. He desperately needed a lake right in front of the plane, and all he saw through the windshield were green death trees. If he had to turn, he didn't think he could keep the plane flying. His stomach tightened into a series of rolling knots, and his breath came in short bursts. There, not quite in front, but slightly to the right, he saw a lake, L-shaped with rounded corners, and the plane was nearly aimed at the long part of the L, coming from the bottom, heading to the top, just a tiny bit to the right. He pushed the right rudder pedal gently, and the nose of the plane moved over. But the turn cost him speed, and now the lake was above the nose. He pulled back on the wheel slightly, and the nose came up. This caused the plane to slow dramatically and almost seemed to stop and wallow in the air. The controls became very loose-feeling and frightened Brian, making him push the wheel back in. This increased the speed a bit, but filled the windshield once more with nothing but trees, and put the lake well above the nose and out of reach. So he saw if this is the lake, he saw it when he was here, tried to glide, but then accidentally went too far. So now he's over the lake, tried to hover, it was too much. He overshot and too much. He's not going to make it. For a space of 3 or 4 seconds, things seemed to hang, almost stop. The plane was flying, but so slowly, it would never reach the lake. Brian looked out to the side and saw a small pond at the edge of some skirt. Brian looked out to the side and saw a small pond, and at the edge of the small pond, some large animal. He thought it might be a moose, standing out in the water. All so still looking, so stopped. The pond and the moose and the trees, as he slid over them, now only 300 or 400 feet off the ground, all like a picture. Then everything happened at once. Trees suddenly took on detail, filled his whole field of vision with green, and he knew he would hit and die. But his luck held, and just as he was to hit, he came into an open lane. A channel of fallen trees, a wide place leading to the lake. The plane, committed now to landing, to crashing, fell into the wide place like a stone. But Brian eased back on the wheel and braced himself for the crash. But there was a tiny bit of speed left, and when he pulled on the wheel, the nose came up, and he saw the front of the blue lake, and at that instant, the plane hit the trees. There was a great wrenching as the wings caught the pines at the sides and the clearing and broke back, ripping back just outside the main braces. Dust and dirt blew off the floor into his face so hard he thought there must have been some kind of explosion. He was momentarily blinded and slammed forward into the seat, smashing his head on the wheel. Then a wild crashing sound, ripping of metal, and the plane rolled to the right and blew through the trees, out over the water and down to slam into the lake. Skip once on the water as hard as concrete, water that tore the windshield out and shattered the side windows, water that drove him back into the seat. Somebody was screaming as the plane drove down into the water. Someone screamed, tight animal screams of fear and pain, and he did not know that it was his own sound. That he roared against the water that took him and the plane still deeper down into the water. He saw nothing but sensed blue, cold blue-green, and he raked out of the seatbelt catch, tore his nails loose on one hand. He ripped at it until it released, and somehow, the water trying to kill him, to end him, somehow he pulled himself out of the shattered front windshield and clawed up into the blue, felt something hold him back, felt his windbreaker tear, and he was free, tearing free, ripping free. But so far to the surface, and his lungs could not do this thing, could not hold, and were through. And he sucked water, took a great pull of water that would finally win, finally take him. And his head broke into the light, and he vomited and swam, pulling without knowing what he was doing, without knowing anything, pulling until his hands caught at weeds and muck, pulling and screaming until his hands caught at last at grass and brush, and he felt his chest on land, felt his face on the coarse blades of the grass, and he stopped. Everything stopped. A color came to him that he had never seen before, a color that exploded in his mind with the pain, and he was gone from it all, spiraling out into the world, spiraling out into nothing. That is the end of chapter 3. So that was kind of a short chapter, so I didn't get the chance to tell you your secret thing that you have to comment or write down. So I want you to tell me in the comments, be sure you put your name, then I want you to tell me in like one sentence what the scariest moment of your life has been. Like something that you were like, ah! Like, did someone scare you? Did you go to a haunted house? Did you trip and fall? What was the scariest moment of your life? That is what I want you to put in the comments below. So, obviously, please know I don't whoa like that. Obviously, I will catch you guys in the video for chapter 4. So until then, be safe. I love you, and bye.